My name is Albert Dominic Capozzi. I go by Dominic. I can sit here and flash all these certificates all day long, but if you can't use them, you can't apply them, they're not worth a damn. The main thing I'm here to explain to you is that what does an administrative analyst too, which is a consultant, legal consultant, and a utility locator have in common? You would think nothing. But if you are in risk management, if you're in any type of administration, you're always looking for a way to cover your butt, cover your backside. You're looking for a way to impose policies and procedures to make sure that everybody knows what's going on, to make sure everybody stays safe. As a consultant, I have had many non-disclosure agreements I had to sign through projects I was going on. But as an administrative analyst, I've been there, done that, and got a bag of chips. People are locating, okay? You are located. You can passive, active, all that. If you don't know none of that, we can go over how to locate. We can go into the procedures. We can go into the frequencies. We can go into the equipment. Me personally, I like that subsite T5, okay? To me, that's a sweetheart. But you're not locating utility lines. You've got to get off. You're the first one on that job. You're the first one to set foot basically on that project. You're there to locate liabilities. I was fortunate to train under two of the best in the state, Tyler Bruno and Daryl Keaty. You couldn't find two better locators. I think they could actually look at the ground and tell you where they're at. So here we go. Let's say, for instance, this crew got 7 poles. They got these maps, the plats that they got to look at. They got to figure out where these poles are at. And then once they do, and they figure out what order to go into them, whether they be in town or out of town, they got to hope that when they get there, that the locator has been there to locate any utility lines they may create a nuisance for them. Well, so what I do is I take the same plats and I translate them into a locator's plat. What does that mean? That means that I use all the data that I have to my possession, and I come up with this. These are actually pictures of the poles. There's actual locations and where the poles are at, and they're actually in order. So they don't have to sit there and come up with a strategy or a game plan. These are listed geographically. With satellite images of the location, you have more than enough information. They can hit the ground running. So what do? 1, they know where they're going. 2, they don't have to sit there and second guess. 3, they don't have to sit there and try to translate that plat and figure it out. It's all done for them. This is archived. I keep these. They share it with themselves. They got a copy. Perfect example. Company calls me up. Says, look, we're coming into town in 3 weeks. We've got this job coming out. Can you give us one of those locators plats? They were in town before. I worked with them before. And I gave them these locators plats because I was looking out for them. This is how I see it, as liability. How do I protect? How do I circumvent any liabilities? Risk management, okay? So once I got all this information from them, you got Waldo, you got other sources that you could go to find utility systems. I translated it, and this is what I did. This is actually the corners that they're at. This shows you where they're going. You see the X, you see down here in the other corners. These are where you're going to be hooking up at. If you ask any locator, what's the main thing they want to know? Where do I hook up at? Where do I find my lines at? That's the biggest thing they want to know, okay? Not to mention. But I also put this into the plat. These are my marks, how I mark them, and why I mark them like this, okay? I use a thing called the mark. It's where I put a mark on the ground, and I put an arrow out there to tell how far into the easement that line is, okay? It might not be good information for some, but it might be valuable to others. This exactly is the corner. These are the lines that are on this corner. If you don't see paint on these lines, then something's wrong. Sometimes contractors don't get out there for a couple of weeks. Maybe adverse weather, but by the time they get out there, they might be faded. But before you stumble into it, these is what should be out there. If they're not, you're going to see a note on this telling you exactly what's going on. Okay, here we go again. You got the 300, you got the 200. That's where you can hook up. That's where they go hook up here to find those lines running down the road. Now, here's your main stretch before you go into your service, okay? The 4.2, that 3.5, that's just estimated depths. That easement right there, that shows you how far from that dot in is your easement. You might want to go center of the road, but go to the center of the road and try to measure that during this hot traffic and hard traffic. And take it from the curb at the same point. Now, I could put 2 or 3 of them, it depends. I tailor this to the contractor. Okay, that's what the major issue is. Here we are. There's where you're going to go for your service line. There's your 2, there's your 3, there's a 24 running wild. You got a 300 and you got a 50 that's not even on that plat, okay? But locating that is the issue. You're locating liabilities, okay? So I archive all these little pictures because if I can't make it out there, I can't go, I can send another locator out there to go locate this. He can transfer me the data, what I need from off this plat, and he knows exactly where to hook up, exactly what he's looking at, and exactly where to go. Saves time, saves money, and it works safe. You don't have to stumble around looking, okay? Now, another issue. A lot of these locators, you're getting out there and you're exposing these liabilities to people. These here are dead. That's one end, that's the other side. I had to dig the other one up because there's two 200s running down this road. And if I don't mark them, okay, and that boring crew gets into them, or the excavator crew gets into them, they're going to stop. Because they're not going to know if they're dead, they're not going to know if they're alive, because they use the same plats and they're not on their plats, okay? And they get bound up like this. It's costing them big time and money because you could have just marked it. Okay. Now, if you guys have done any locating with AT&T fiber, these are the pens you'll see. And you see that handhole full of water. You take this open and you open this baby. Let me tell you something. There's a little rubber ring in there that if you're locating, you've located, you know it's a pain in the butt. But I used a little axle grease. I put it in there to seat it, and it worked well because it helps preserve the rubber also. But there's a little bolt on the top that you can attach to, but sometimes these are so corroded on the inside, you're not going to get a line. You're going to have to get down and dirty. I also put on this locator plat when I send in this information, okay? This has got personal PPE information. I show an example of the boring rig, which every locator should know. Some about these boring rigs, how they operate, what's going on with them, okay? Now, you got OSHA coming around. OSHA comes around all the time, and what? You don't got no material safety data sheets. Who ever heard of material safety data sheets out in the field, right? They should be there. If you got chemicals out there, if you got diesel fuel out there, if you got gasoline out there, if you got oil out there, you should have an MSDS on all those products, and we attach that to the locator's plat. It's all in there. Okay? So, these are your MSDSs. When's the last time somebody even talked to you about MSDSs? But this is what you put in your locator's plat. So, what you're doing is you are assuring that you are circumventing any liability, okay? So, by conducting a root cause analysis and addressing the root causes, an employee may be able to substantially or completely prevent the same or similar incident from reoccurring. These plats offer full transparency, assuring all assigned to this project are fully informed, safety-wise, chemical-wise. Because let me tell you, it comes down, these are some big hits, okay? Did you know that the biggest hit from the EEOC on companies right now is for retaliation? Oh my God, who are you people using for your mediators? Who's running your HR personnel? If they're getting grievances and they're not responding accordingly, you need to step that up. EEOC is collecting big time. Now, the major issue I told you, no matter what incident you happen within your company, if they go to an attorney, his job is going to get into your front door. He has to have a good reason to take you to court and get you into court. That's where they want. If they can't find that their door is shut, okay, because you keep getting these violations, it's going to cost you. And see right here, these are the top 10 OSHA look-fors, okay? But this locator plant covers almost every single one of them. They are sure that they are covered, that the employees know this. These are valuable information. The OSHA violations could impact the cost of small business insurance. OSHA violations impact insurance premiums. Okay, these are some of the fines that OSHA charge you. There's no joke. You got one for $161,000 for a repetitive. If you get hit with these, it's serious damage. Okay. But circumventing that is the most important part, so you don't have to deal with it. Let me tell you something. Incident reports are serious matters, okay? Especially if it has someone injured. If they go at any time to the hospital, now I'm talking about somebody got hurt, they really didn't say nothing, but they get home, now they're going to go to the hospital, you have no incident report made on it, you have to go backtracking, that's BS, okay? You have to understand, any time an employee seeks medical attention for an injury resulting in time off, an in-depth investigation as to the root cause should be completed, and that quick. Because you know why? It's game on. That's how you have to look at it. A personal injury demand letter If you get that from an attorney, it's game on. The investigation has been done before the letter comes. That's where you try to be. You try to have all your ducks in a row. The minute that happens, they give you a letter, you slam the door shut on them with all your data. And where do you get it from? You don't have to go running around and searching for it. If you're a lawyer and they turn around and you got litigation coming up, you have to run all of these departments and request, oh, give me all the safety reports, give me all the performance reports. It's all wrapped up in this locator's plat. Okay, so project management, risk management, safety, HR employee relations, we are all preparing for potential liability to prevent it at any cost. So by utilizing the first man that touches this job, by informing all the personnel that's on this job, because once I send it to the contractor, he sends it to all the crew members. Everybody's got a copy of the job. Everybody's informed as to the hazards of this job. So, are you locating liabilities? That's the main issue. By utilizing this platform, by forming this type of format, that everybody in the crew gets a copy of this, everybody in the crew gets a copy of the safety talks, you are CYA. When it comes time, if something should happen, at your fingertips you have it all. You have every job he's been on, every safety talk he's been given to. Everything you need is right here in order for you to do your investigation. So, that's what I'd like to see. I want to get with a company that I can turn around and cultivate this. So if you're looking for this for your company, you're looking for this kind of protection, you're looking for this insight, then we can do business.